So, welcome back for the first time to a Two Whiskeys podcast.
I am the co-host, I guess, Soul, and this is...
I'm Captain Eric.
I'm not fucking falling for it this time. Fuck you.
And that's when I don't say anything.
Yep. All right, thanks for tuning in.
Pirate legend!
God damn it!
Go with this.
Oh, come on, man.
Sit still, my boy, for I'm going to tell ye a story that may very well save your life.
All right,
Somebody bring in the stunt double.
back to our roots. It's just going to be me and Captain Eric.
That's me.
What am I, chopped liver?
I hate chopped liver too, so yeah.
I'm kind of fond of it.
How about him?
I mean, I'll have sex with that too.
Still have sex with later.
Yeah, I know.
Whoa.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah, sure, why not? I can take a shot right. All right, so on today's podcast, obviously, we're going to be breaking down a little bit more as far as the dynamic of the SCA goes, our fun experiences. Going to be trying another whiskey. Which one we got this time?
I forget the name. It's something from South Carolina, and it's quality.
Ultra
Or at least-
greeny.
It better be.
Well, it did come in a blue bag, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, I think that's like suede or some shit or material.
What? You're not wrong. It's probably
It's
a
one of
material,
those.
Yeah.
It's either suede or another material.
Okay. All right. So, the SCA. As usual, let's go ahead and break into
Yeah,
that.
I think we want to talk about some first experiences within the SCA, specifically Pennsic, our favorite go-to. And if anybody's curious as to why most of our stories is always about Pennsic, is because Pennsic's like 2 weeks long versus like the other events we go to is like a weekend, 4 or 5 days the most.
Yeah, so it's a vastly different experience, or at least more time to have a experience with.
And I'm sure we pointed out previously that like thousands of people show up to Pennsic when like 1,000 might show up to another event that we go to at best.
Yeah, exactly.
A few hundred, really.
Yeah, I think War of the Wings gets like it got like 1,200 people last year, maybe, and that was like the biggest turnout to date.
No, it's going to be a real blow up this year.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge.
It's going to hit capacity, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but again, I think we're gonna be talking about mostly Pennsic again, and specifically like just firsts for us. And
Because there are a lot of first-time experiences, especially when it comes to Pennsic.
Yeah.
As far as the SCA goes, and that's literally every year. Every year I've gone there.
Every
something
day.
new.
yeah, every day, like every hour almost.
Yeah. Something interesting is always going on. Something is always going on.
I think I've been to like 6 in a row now, and just every year, like obviously there's some things that you just come to expect that are just going to happen, but each one's different enough.
Yeah.
Every time you experience it, for good and for bad. Some like it's hard. Like when you go to like the Mardi Gras party and it's standing room only, literally like 1,500 people that are just half naked and shit faced.
Crammed into a 3 camps worth of area.
It's hard to top that the next year. Like where do you go from there? Do you fit 2,000 people in there? Like, I mean, how many? I don't want to get too much into that, but yeah, like I was saying, for good and for bad, like it's never the same. Every day is different. Every year is different, one way or another. But there's some things that are just you experience them once,
Yeah, fleeting moments. I mean, legitimately, my first time going to Pennsic, 2 of the things I think that I experienced were big things that were consistently happening every year. The year I went, that was the year they stopped doing them.
Yeah.
So I barely managed to get in there and experience some interesting shit right before it's gone forever.
Was that the Mardi Gras?
That was Mardi Gras, and then the next year I'm kind of mixing up my years a little bit.
Easy to do.
Yeah, it all blurs. Put in plenty of alcohol and crazy experiences, but the Ironlands Virgin Sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Did that happen the next year as well?
I don't know.
Because I remember I got sacrificed. Mike Shea got sacrificed. A bunch of first timers. you, Draco, and Vigo all went up that year as well. And then I don't remember if it happened again the next year because it could have been one of two things. I mean, maybe we just didn't feel like going, or that might have been when it didn't happen. I know for a fact, at least 2 years later, it wasn't happening anymore.
Yeah, I think you're correct because that specifically was like 3 years ago, right? When you guys sacrificed 3 or 4 years ago.
3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember the year after that, we had more virgins, and again, it's Penzig virgins. People have never been to a Penzig before to get sacrificed under the boar head, which is basically like Everclear poured straight into your eyes off of a dead boar's head.
Yeah, if you tuned into one of the last ones, we did talk about it, and it can be kind of rough, and a little weird, unfortunately, when maybe you're like me and you just are looking into the boar's eyes because they don't set it high enough.
Yeah. Oh,
they basically just pour it in my face.
Well, you're supposed to be on your knees, right?
Just to get under it.
We were all on our knees.
We were not. Because the 3 of us trying to huddle up under it, and it was set up high.
Comfort, yeah. Most people were able to stand.
That's right, because we actually wanted to drink from it, but there's just 3 of us under it.
You got that Everclear rain.
Yeah. And they had one set of glasses. Anyway.
Yeah.
No, because I remember the year after that, we had virgins that we wanted to sacrifice, but we couldn't.
Yeah.
We couldn't. They're supposed to be moving it somewhere else, and we couldn't find it. We heard rumors that it was it was a mobile kind of thing. We couldn't find that.
Yeah, allegedly.
And then
I don't know why they may have been shut down. I don't want to allegedly. We heard rumors they had a wagon with a boar's head in it.
I mean,
it could have been for any reason though.
I hate that that's not a thing anymore. Yeah, same with the Mardi Gras, and like the Mardi Gras kind of thing that what I heard why they stopped doing that sounded reasonable because it was like one camp down there pulling like 90% of the weight for that party, and it was like it's essentially a block party. It was like 5 camps throwing a party, but it was really one camp that was fronting the cost for it and all the man hours and prep that went into it.
Yeah, it comes a time when you don't want to be the person that put all that in, and like the entire block is getting all the credit.
I remember my first time. I think it was my first Penzig. Draco was with me, and I got blackout. And all I remember from that entire night, and Draco might be able to refresh my memory. I don't know what happened before this, and I don't know what happened afterwards. And I vaguely remember waking up in my tent, and I have no idea how I got there, but I do remember blacking out. This is the first night we'd been up for like 36 hours or some shit.
Yeah.
When we first got there, and drank a lot, like you do. And I blacked out, and I don't know what the word for it. I unblacked out, and I was just on a bench somewhere in the middle of Penzig.
I think they call that then awoke. The reverse of blacking out.
Cool. Now I know. Thank you, Urban Dictionary.
And thank you, Jack's Films.
And yeah, I just started walking because I didn't know why I was on that bench. Apparently, Draco had just left me there.
Typical Draco behavior.
Yeah, you can fill in some blanks. But yeah, I remember walking back to where I thought my camp was, and I stumbled past a camp where I just saw a bunch of people sitting around a fire, like having a good time and laughing and stuff. I'm like, oh, and I hailed their camp. What you're supposed to do before, and you're not supposed to just walk randomly into people's camps. It's rude. It's essentially their house, and you knock by hailing. So I hailed them, and like they turned around, like half of them turned around, and one of them was like, "Oh, come on in." Another guy like raised a bottle of liquor, and that was the last thing I remember.
So
go into the shots montage right out of that.
Let me set the scene. But I want to move further back. It's getting to nightfall. We're about to start going into the bog where all the parties are. And one of the guys in our camp says, "So you guys fancy yourself drinkers? Or here's a mason jar of moonshine." So Eric and I look at it and go, all right, if you say so. By the time he's turned around and come back to us, we've finished most of that thing of moonshine. And he's like, well, you guys are done. Guess you're not going out tonight. Oh, you think so, eh?
What are you talking about? This is pre-gaming.
So we do go out and we all go to this first party. And there's a lot of people there. There's a lot of things going on. They got good booze. They got big bonfire going on. People are dancing. There's drums. It's great. But we're bored. We've heard all these stories about great things that are going to go on at Pensick, and we want to go explore and experience things for ourselves.
When we drink that moonshine, how long had we been awake at that point? Had to be at least 24 hours.
I want to say it had been about 30.
Okay.
So, yeah, we've been awake for a long. We get down there and we're like, these people that are supposed to be showing us around or showing us the ropes are boring.
They said they were going to throw us to the wolves. I mean, where we came from, we are the wolves.
So we threw ourselves. So we leave
because they kept saying that, but they never did.
We leave. We sneak off from our friends, and we really don't know where we are or what we're doing. So we get to a bench, and Eric's sitting there going, "Man, I am really, really drunk. I think I need to sit down for a minute. Do you know where we are?" Like, yeah, I do. It's fine. Here, you sit down at this bench. I'm gonna go check out this party that's over here and see if it's any good. If it is, I'm gonna come back for it.
I vaguely remember that.
Vaguely.
Yeah. I remember him saying something about going to check out a party.
So I head over and go check out this party.
And he never came back for me.
Just abandoned you there on a bench.
I walk in. They have people doing naked twister. There are half-naked people belly dancing. They got really, really good drinks. And I stood there for about 10, 15 seconds getting it all in. Going,
Minutes.
Gawking.
I need to go get Eric. He needs to witness this shit. So I run back, and he's gone. I walk around for another 5-10 minutes, but you know what? Fuck him. He disappeared. I'm going back.
You went to the wrong bench.
There was only one bench.
You know, it's your first time there, right?
I knew where he was. It wasn't far from the party.
You just on a bench 20 feet away. It's like, well, fuck him, I guess. Eric just waking up. What was that?
No, he actually came back when I was still on that bench. Like, oh, guess Eric's not here.
Yeah, he just passed out.
Fuck that dude.
Guess I'm doing this on my own.
Oh, what will I do with all these naked girls playing Twister on my own?
Get rejected a lot.
Yeah.
Well, continue on. So, waited like 5 minutes, and you decided to go back to the party, right?
It waited 5 seconds. And
5 seconds, yes.
Yes.
What did I say? Sorry.
You said 5 minutes. He did not have time to wait to see if I was just, in the porta-john.
Or
You know.
collapsed on the other side of the bench.
Or dead
I
somewhere.
didn't think about you being in the port. That was the point.
I wasn't.
Yeah, I know.
Very important detail.
But I ended up having a great time that night. I went back, played games,
I wish Eric did.
met a bunch of really cool people, met back up with our original group of friends that were supposed to be showing us around. They're still at that same first party. I'd already been to like 4 different bars around, 2 different parties, showed back up. They're like, oh, Draco's back.
Big whoop.
So you done anything crazy tonight? Oh, not too much. Had a good time. I bet you won't go dance around that fire over there naked.
Again?
How many
No, it
times
was
do I
not
have to
again.
do
This
that
was the first
tonight?
time.
Oh yeah, that was when you did that thing. Yeah, I remember.
That thing. Yes.
So I went. So it was one of those hold my beer moments, and
Mhm.
then hold my clothes.
Hold my pocket beers.
Yeah.
Well, that was actually before we got into the art of like pocket beers and having our own stash.
Yeah, before we got into the art of literally carrying around a bar with us.
I
Yeah.
don't think I had a pouch.
Wow.
Yeah, all we had was like, I think I had a pouch and a belt,
If
and
you had a pouch, I had a pouch.
and a
Ours at the
horn.
same time.
No, because I got mine from Pops.
Oh, okay. So I didn't have shit.
Yeah, no. But we had our
So many
horns.
ways.
That was the first thing we bought. Was something to drink out of.
Yeah, first experience with the horn.
That was rough.
We didn't wax it, and it tasted like straight death.
Fun experience. Always wax your horn.
Yep.
Shit, this is a better way to say it.
No, there's not. That's about it.
Okay, yeah.
They know what you mean, or they don't.
Whatever.
It tastes like alcoholic death. No.
Yeah, no. It tastes like you're drinking out of an actual corpse of an animal.
Anyway, continue,
Yeah.
please. Enough about waxing
That was about
horns.
it. We
All right. Well,
they went back to camp. I decided to hang out, drink, and meet new people. It wasn't anything too exciting other than going a days and age around a bunch of people.
I mean, you were there.
Shocking the people we're with. Oh my god, this guy might actually be harder partiers than we are. No shit.
Yeah, fuck.
We vastly underestimated them.
Were you in college at the time?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Did you pass college?
that's subjective.
I passed classes.
He got better at beer pong.
Okay, that's something positive came out of it. All right. Anyway,
Yeah, we kicked the shit out of people at beer pong tournaments at Penzic.
I think it was a low bar,
Yeah,
but
Look, I only lost one game.
ever.
That was against you.
anyway,
I didn't have a good part.
But like,
was it me?
and going back to
That
what
makes
we
sense.
said earlier, like, I'm really glad we eventually evolved to the point of carrying around at least enough of a supply of like alcohol that we could not only get ourselves fucked up if we need to, we could also get one other person drunk at almost any point in time.
I don't know what you were carrying most of the time, but pretty easily do more than one extra.
At least.
Okay, yeah, I can accept at least one person
Yeah.
because
That's when I would go back and restock.
Yeah.
If I can't, like, if I run out of my supply, my own personal supply, if I run out to the point where I can no longer get myself and one other person drunk, then it's like, shit,
yeah, stores are running low.
I need to go resupply.
I always love that fucking dynamic, especially the I think it was the last Penzic I was at. It might have been it was one before that. Maybe both. I don't know. Fuck. Anyway, so I remember the last night I went out to go partying. It was the first Penzic where I legitimately went out every single night to party. I had at least taken one night off almost every other Penzic except for this one. And I went out with my pirate coat on, my one that's covered in bones and everything sewed
Mhm.
into it. And I had 2-liter bottles in the front side pockets. Like if somebody tried to punch me in the chest, they would just hit a glass bottle.
Ding.
They fit perfectly in there. And I had 4 flasks.
Mm-hmm.
I was just loaded to bear, and I had my mug, and I was just going to parties, getting drinks at the bars there and everything. But in those very rare moments when I didn't have something to drink, like, well, what do I want? Vodka, rum, whiskey, I got tequila. I was just loaded up. I don't know why I was so prepared that night. It was the last night.
No, but actually, I was thankful you did
Yeah.
because there were several times that night where I'd run into you and go, "Hey, man, my mug is broken. There's this big hole in the top of it." And you just pull out 8 things from a different pocket.
Like, what you want?
I actually got to the point, like, at least at Penzic, I don't do it at other events as nearly as often, but I got to the point where I'll carry a flask on me the entire event, and I won't touch it. This is my emergency flask.
It's a just in case.
Like, if I get, like, restrained somewhere, if I'm in a building and, like, the entrance collapses and there's no way out of it and there's no booze in that building, I have this at least.
shit.
See, I do.
And it'll get me through, like, an hour and a half.
I do something similar.
Thank God.
I always have an emergency flask, but it's more like a sharing flask. When somebody comes up to me and gives me a sip of their booze because they have some fancy crap going on, I want to be able to share something. So I have that.
I'm like, oh yeah,
As my-
check this out.
Here, try this thing.
You know, you can do both, right? I suggest everyone have an emergency flask on them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what organization you're a part of, what your day-to-day base is. Even if you're sober,
Yeah.
always have an emergency
You
flask.
need it.
Yeah, you might.
You need to be someone else's Saint Bernard.
Yeah.
Right.
That's That's a good way to put it. Be there, St. Brown. Even if it's just to disinfect a wound, carry the alcohol. Also, always carry a lighter.
It's just this like a survival podcast.
Shit, that was breaking down into. Okay, yeah.
we
All right, so
already
we're
went
gonna
over the apocalypse.
All right, we're gonna break
Don't
down
suck out the boys.
what goes in your go bag. Liquor, nothing else. Continue.
I'd be good for trading though, to be honest.
Yeah, you're not. Okay, yeah. Tangent.
And to get in a fight, and you gotta use it as a Molotov.
I hate when that happens. Anyway, back to first experiences as far as things go with it. My first actual Pennsic that I went to, I had a lot of new experiences that happened. I mean, obviously, I went to, a few smaller parties where nothing crazy happened the first weekend. And then I went to Mardi Gras, and that was the last year they were doing it. And if you listen to the other podcasts, I choked a guy out there. I picked him up by his fucking neck, whatever. Anyway, the next night, I didn't get to experience like the block party that happens the night after that. They got rained out, and nobody wanted to party in the rain, which is weird.
Yeah, no, that was terrible. I've been to plenty of parties that are just people are soaked and it's pouring. I don't get it.
And that relates pretty heavily into it. I got to not only see, but play Fizzball my first year going. There's a limited number of teams. So
Yeah.
that was interesting. I had a full-blown anxiety attack while I was on the field, but whatever. I got through it, and it was fun. Snorted ginseng for the first time that year.
I love getting heckled by people that are just naked. Like that's an experience. and if you've never been heckled by a naked person, it's like sober and drunk. There's all types.
Mm-hmm.
Then you haven't lived.
I mean,
So someone's telling you how to like bat when they're like they don't have an arm.
No, I remember. I
Some
remember
shit, like-
what gave me my anxiety attack, and it was really
Oh
silly.
yeah,
But we were all of us decided to go to Fizzball in kilts,
yeah, boots and kilts.
Yeah.
boots and kilts, and I did not have a like nice comfortable kilt on. I borrowed a former friend's, and it was the giant kind. You wrap around yourself like 30 fucking times.
Yeah.
So I'm just covered in
Like
cloth.
a straight up great kilt. Like the rest of us just have like waist kilts, essentially skirts, except we were regimental, so they're kilts.
Yeah. And they were all legitimate kilts. All of us were regimental, nothing underneath. And I had severe social anxiety going in because I'd never like really tried to go to big events like this before.
And the batter's mound was slippery as fuck.
Yeah, because it had rained. It's August.
It's
fucking
covered in beer.
covered in beer and rain, and it's just muddy as all shit. And not only do I go up to bat for like the first time, and I can't remember if it was before I actually hit for the first time or just during like my time up there, I slipped on a massive regimental kilt that I felt like I was drowning in wool. And then I also have a guy behind, like just drunk, shirtless, beer-bellied dude just yelling at me like 5 feet behind me. Hey! What, man? Hey, what camp are you from? Hey! It's like, I'm just trying to hit a can. Stop bothering me. I tried to get through it, and it was rough, but I made it. And I can handle that much better nowadays. Like, I'm much more acclimated to that kind of ordeal now. But at the time, it was rough.
Dude, that was a rough year too, because it was so wet and slippery. Like I had an issue when I walked out there to bat. I missed my first 2 swings
Nothing to the
on the
ground.
can because I kept slipping, and I started taking my shoes off. And that same guy's like, "Oh, he thinks it's his shoes. Like that's gonna fucking." And then I hit the can, shattered it. He goes, "Oh, maybe it was his shoes."
I remember.
It doesn't make any fucking sense because they put like a 4x4 of AstroTurf out there, and AstroTurf is great in like the rain and stuff.
Yeah.
Unless it's covered in fucking mud, which
is
it's fucking surrounded by. So anybody walking onto it is tracking mud,
exactly.
which is just being trapped into the AstroTurf. So you just have a slick sheet of mud.
And by the way, any shoes that are technically considered period have no traction on them whatsoever.
It's just flat soles.
Yeah, well, I went out there in sandals, and I remember I did end up taking mine off, but literally I had slipped and fallen, afraid of fucking just showing what God gave me to the whole crowd, my first event. And right after I got done, they come out and put down fucking
Yeah.
chips. Like, what a slap in the fucking face that was.
I know I went to bat and I just did, great. So I
Shut
don't.
the fuck up.
I mean, I've played Fizzball I think 5 times now at Penzic. I struck out once, and it wasn't my fault either.
I've never struck out at least.
Yeah, I struck out once because like I hit the can, solid hit for my second hit, but it just put a little pinhole in it.
God, that's so fucking
And they
frustrating.
took fucking forever to pitch it back to me. So by the time they pitched it back to me, there was no pressure built up in the fucking can. And I hit the fuck out of that can. And it didn't break at all. And like, oh, you gotta chug it. I'm like, okay, there's nothing in it though.
It's an empty can.
Like I literally
popped.
popped it and did that. And like, a fucking tiddlywink of fucking foam came out of
It's a
it.
good word.
Like, thanks. Like, can I get another fucking beer at least? And they
Chug
chug
a
another
full
beer.
one. Yeah, very accommodating. at
Yeah,
least.
super accommodating. But that's the only time I ever struck out. It fucking pissed me off.
Well, other first time experiences though, breaking away from that. I do remember I did experience something, and this is again that first year. I had not acclimated to basically social settings very well. I was still very shy, massive social anxiety. Anybody,
There's like thousands of people watching right now, right?
obviously.
Or potentially in the future.
I'm hyperventilating as we speak.
I
But
can't
yeah.
wait to do a live stream and just, the hundreds of people that have liked the Two Whiskeys page on Facebook just all tune in at once.
And then we never noticed.
Please.
I can dream.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. But no, yeah, I decided, it was my first year, so I was gonna go out of my way to do something out of my comfort zone, even more so than the Fizzball already was. But I was alone, wandering, the campground one night. I was in full decked out pirate. I was feeling nice and toasty. I was feeling good. I had that fucking Jack Sparrow swagger walking around.
It's a fun swagger. I'm pretty sure it's
It feels
impossible to
good.
trip when you're walking like that.
You'd be surprised.
Well, anyway.
No.
So, I had a different.
It's impossible to trip and look bad. You just look in character if you do.
There you go. I'll give you that.
And I had an understanding, like you should definitely carry around some kind of personal bottle. Even back then, I knew have a personal like emergency flask or at least something to sip on while you're walking in case you don't encounter a bar.
It's a valid concern.
Yeah.
It's rare, but it's a valid concern.
Exactly. And this was late. This was like fucking, I think 2:00 in the morning. Most parties weren't like doing much at that
Yeah,
point
it's probably only like a dozen bars open at that point.
at best.
Yeah, and it's a big site, so
But I just encounter a random encampment, and actually kind of similar to the story you had. I just saw a bunch of people sitting around a fire, just laughing, and I could definitely tell they were drinking because I at least saw the silhouette of a bottle every now and again. And I fought every fiber of my being and hailed the camp.
you make it sound like you sat there and watched them for a while.
No.
Yeah, I was seeing like silhouettes of like you're in the tree line and shit. Just, oh, I wish I was there.
Got my rattlesnake rattle and my white sombrero on. Yeah.
Right outside of the campfire light. Just breathing heavily.
Oh God, I want to be a part of
Stalking
that.
them like a hyena in the fucking savannah.
No, I it was maybe like 10 to 20 minutes. I mean, seconds at best. I was,
I heard what you said.
I was watching, like, because I was fighting with myself, like, do I do this? And so I did. I hailed the camp, and they were like, I asked them if I could come in, like, what do you got to offer? And I knew the answer.
These nuts.
I had a different answer, but
Okay, well,
I knew the answer. I pulled out, a full bottle of rum, basically. I got rum. There's like, get the fuck in here. So-
or else.
Yeah, or consequences. And I strolled in and sat with a group of strangers for like the first time at any large event like this at all. And we just chilled around the fire and shared interesting anecdotes, and I shared my liquor with them. And some guy tried to get my pants. Nothing sexual about it. He's just like, I don't even have any garb pants, guys. Like, you give me your garb pants right now. I'm just like, no.
That sounds like a level 1 PC in Dungeons and Dragons. They have to earn all of their like gear and everything. Give me some shoes. I want some shoes.
Well, yeah, I was like,
I'm 30 years old. I don't need fucking shoes.
This dude's like $110, $120, and I'm me, and I'm just like, guy, you might want to get some pants from somebody else.
Well, are you sure he wasn't one of the underpants gnomes?
No, I don't think he was, because I'm pretty sure he was a virgin.
Yeah,
because he genuinely just didn't have garb pants.
Level 1 PC.
Yeah, level 1 PC. But no, that was 2, I guess, experiences. My first time in the SCA of dealing with social anxiety and overcoming those boundaries.
When talking about like overcoming social anxiety, I know one thing that helped me like years and years ago. Actually, it was a tactic I got from Steve-O when he was doing his jackass shit, and like I used this. I eventually I didn't have to use it anymore. But when faced with a situation where you're like super hesitant about doing something or not, but you want to do it, kind of thing, you count to 3. And then you just do it. You have to get in the set of mind that like on 3 you do it. Nothing else. Like
there's no backing down.
Yeah, there's no backing down.
Choice,
yeah, 1, 2, 3, jump or say or yell or do whatever. That was something I did for years when I ran into any kind of anxiety or like even just stupid fucking dares or fucking bodily harm bullshit.
Mine might kind of sound weird whenever that situation came up to me. I always just kind of I changed personality to somebody who would do that kind of thing. It doesn't last long, but for a split second, I could pretend I'm somebody else and go, sit, do it, go, and be excited about it.
I think they call that bipolar disorder.
How do you do it on purpose?
Can we hang out with that guy more often?
Yeah, he sounds dope.
Fucking cool.
Maybe later.
Well, you remember you were there like this is years ago, and completely unrelated, but this was one of the last times I actually remember using my specific tactic. We were at Sean's parents' house, and I got dared to jump into their fucking pool, in-ground pool that hadn't been cleaned in like a year and a half. In the middle of the winter, it's like 40 degrees or less out.
So like a nasty ass
nasty as shit. There's like fucking like 2 or 3 inches of just foliage on top of it, leaves and algae and all this kind of shit. And I got dared to jump into it.
Horrible flashbacks to my family's
pool. That was the last time I remember using the count to 3 technique.
Yeah,
that was worth it. We got it on video actually, but then the video camera got stolen. Of course,
typical.
It was actually one of the best. I dived into the pool, and it was actually one of the best dives I've ever done.
And he knows it. He can't see himself dive very well.
Fair enough.
True, yeah, but you can feel it. Yeah. And granted, the algae I probably slipped into it.
That might be a
better than I usually would, but
we're really hoping the algae would keep it down longer.
It's just you hit a different fucking just viscosity in the water, and you just can't get back up. So they're sitting there,
just film on top, like okay, well,
it's like a pool cover. It's like, well, you pull out your emergency flask when you're underwater. And just
I probably would have gone into shock from the fucking like 35-degree water before I drowned. So
well, I'm glad we don't have to know.
I didn't smoke nearly as much back then.
Okay. Well, transitioning away from that.
I remember the first time I got to hang out at Springwood, and first time I actually got to hang out with a good friend of mine now. His name's Vadrio the Elf. Check him out on Facebook, and I think he's on like Twitch and like I know he's on
Twitch
YouTube.
And YouTube. I don't know if he posts anything on YouTube lately, but fun guy.
He's on like all the platforms now.
Yeah. Good to see it.
But lot of just amazing guitar work on that kind of stuff. But the first time I ever actually, as far as I remember, got to like hang out with him at Pinzik and hang out at the Tilted Tavern, Springwood and stuff, which I fucking like revere that fucking place. Like I was starstruck and awestruck by it. Like the first time I ever actually saw it during a party. And, there's fucking hundreds of people around here and standing room only. It's a fucking bar that they set up. Like, it's got seats, and it's got a fucking 8 keg tap system. And it has like 3 or 4 chandeliers in it, and, a canvas roof and stuff. And they built it.
Yeah, keep in
for
mind,
the
this is in the
event.
middle of the fucking woods.
Yeah.
In a campground. It's a full-fledged
Yeah, it's a bar
solid
that
wood
can
bar.
It's a bar that can easily sit like 30 people.
And yeah, at least 30. Probably a little more than that.
People cram, man. Like I've seen like fucking 50 people hanging all over that bar.
That's why it's tilted now.
I never asked about the name about it. I assumed just alliteration is fun.
I don't know. They built it crooked.
Okay.
They told me the reason for the name at one point, but I can't for the life of me remember exactly.
All right, cool.
Something I'm going to find out next year.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that.
But I remember, once I just ran into Vade at Penzic just randomly on the road. And he's like, and this, I'm a Penzic virgin at this point. Talking with him, hanging out with him and stuff. I'm probably acting like a fucking like schoolgirl.
Just giddy.
Yeah. And he's like, hey, you want to start an amoeba? And an amoeba is when you just essentially walk around Penzic and you just, I'm sure it's at other events and stuff. But you just gather people. The more you grow, the more you go.
Yeah, you assimilate people like
an
amoeba.
Yeah, you assimilate people like the Borg. The amoeba.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I'm like, oh yeah, of course I want to fucking start an amoeba. I've been here 4 days. Definitely want to start an amoeba. I've heard about that once.
I know what that is.
I think. Yeah.
I want to impress you, Vade.
I get that reference. And say, all right, well, we're gonna go back to Springwood and we'll start it there. Like, fuck yeah, like, when we got drinks back there and everything, and grab your horn, whatever. And like, hell yeah, and I'm shit faced, by the way. I should point that out.
You're a Penzic, so.
Yeah,
and you're 4 days in.
And he's like, so as we get there, he runs up behind the bar. He's incredibly charismatic as well. I should point that out. And he's like, what do you want to drink? And there's like 2 other people sitting at the fucking bar. I'm at the Total Tavern, essentially by myself. Being served privately.
I mean, that's a surreal experience.
I made it. I fast forward 2 years and I'm bartending behind it. That was when
That's a different kind of
I made it. But I'm sitting there, in Springwood at the Total Tavern, essentially, by myself, I'm a private bartender. This fucking elf that everyone knows at Penzic, and he's serving me. I'm like, hell yeah. What do you want? Like, give me some fucking cider. You got cider? I heard you got cider. I love cider. It's like, hell yeah, man. And he brings me a cup of water. That's water there. It's like, yeah, drink that and I'll get you some cider. I'm like, hell yeah. I understand the importance of hydration.
Yeah.
I watch Modest Pelican.
Hydrate or die.
And that happens 3 times. So after, 3 cups of water, I go and throw up. Because I've been drinking nothing but booze for like 6 hours. And granted, I needed it.
Yeah.
I definitely needed it.
And he could probably tell.
But I threw up. I came back. And I believe he's like, all right, so do you actually want some cider? And I was like, no, let me get some water.
Let me restock on that.
Got a little bit of water, and then we started drinking, and then I think I left because I was tired.
All that vomiting really
All the vomiting, yeah. All the vomiting and the several glasses of water, so I was halfway sober at that point too.
Yeah.
And it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I believe.
That's a rough way to be at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Sober. I definitely needed that water though. I can imagine the hangover I would have gotten if I woke up.
Hangover, cramping.
Yeah, without drinking.
Not long after that, bitch pattern on your way.
Sounds like it. Sounds like me at the time. I mean, that was me like 6 years ago. I know better now. I hydrate.
Yeah, consistently.
Yeah.
I mean, half the time.
As we're sitting here taking like 7 or 8 shots back to back. Believe me, we hydrate before and after this show, though.
Yep.
You do?
I do.
I do.
Then shut the fuck up.
I'm trying to set an example.
Knee-jerk reaction to not come to my defense.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, those are some of our first experiences, in the SCA. A lot of again every year, new experiences happen every day. Something new. It's every
Speaking of new experiences, I got a whiskey we haven't tried.
That's true. Let's go ahead and break into this new whiskey, and if somebody could tell me what it is.
God,
that's nice.
Oh, look.
No,
Ultra Premium South Carolina Select Club.
nice. Okay,
Wait, we've had something from Select Club before.
we
haven't
had the pecan praline.
the praline.
That it wasn't bad. It was dessert worthy. It was not drinking it's not. We couldn't drink it the whole pot.
Okay,
But-
so
This shouldn't be as sweet.
blended Canadian whiskey. It's 40% alcohol. Product of
North Carolina.
Cambridge University.
Well, it's Ultra Premium South Carolina Select Club.
But it's Canadian. What?
Blended Canadian whiskey. Product of, I guess.
Canada or South
Did you
Carolina?
read that off of this?
No, I can't see.
Sounds weird. Yeah, product of Canada.
Okay.
Oh,
South Carolina whiskey. Product of Canada.
that makes sense.
Also made in China.
Hell yeah, the bottle probably is.
Are they Canadians that work? in South Carolina,
this-
maybe?
Any interesting details to read off on that bad boy? Anything that's really
I don't know.
eye-catching?
I haven't read this, so let's start. Oh, I see Revolutionary War in that.
Uh-oh.
It was our aspiration to craft South Carolina Select Club whiskey to reflect and highlight the rich heritage and beauty of the great state of South Carolina.
Can't tell if you're doing a southern accent on purpose or not. Or
What are you talking about?
Okay, whatever.
The Palmetto State, known for its history, was one of the original 13 colonies.
Ooh, I do declare, yes indeed.
The palmetto tree is rooted in historical significance dating back to the Revolutionary War.
Great.
On June 28th, 1776, the British fleet's attack on Sullivan's Island was repulsed. The Palmetto Log Fort withstood the barrage of British cannons, causing the cannonballs to bounce off the spongy palmetto logs until the fleet retreated. South Carolina Select Club whiskey embodies the treasures that majestic state of South Carolina possesses and is our tribute to the past, present, and future of this wonderful land. What makes this whiskey truly unique is the process used to create it. We start by carefully selecting only the finest grains available, then slowly aging in premium oak barrels, which is what gives South Carolina Select Club whiskey its distinguished, smooth, mellow, and creamy taste.
Yes, it's wooden flavor.
Creamy taste.
Wait, why is it creamy? That's not a word.
We are confident that you will enjoy every sip as much as we enjoyed making this fine, unparalleled whiskey for you.
There's
Well, I do declare the bubblegum.
you reading this is just giving me the vapors. Right?
Imported by Elite Brands, Houston, Texas.
Wait, what? There's so many different fucking sources on there.
It's Canadian, it's South Carolina Select Club Canadian whiskey imported from Houston, Texas.
Good
Well, at
God.
least that makes sense.
That bottle is a melting pot of sorts on its own.
You know what else is a melting pot? The palmetto tree that's rooted in historical significance.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Pretty bottle, though.
I mean, it does have some neat angles on it. It's a nice shape to it. Good looking cork, wood top. Is there?
Some cheap plastic, though.
I mean, it's just to seal the cork. I'm not going to judge an entire whiskey based on their plastic usage.
I feel like you're slipping into some southern accent.
Boy,
now.
don't I said.
God, this little bit of plastic.
Is it whooping your ass right now? Okay, cork came right out.
Yeah, but it's still got the plastic around the rim. I hate that.
We'll take it off.
I was trying to, but I don't want to take up too much time.
All right. So, how's the smell? Let me see that cork. We get a nice cork sniff there.
Get a cork sniff.
It smells so creamy. Why is that?
Can you never say that out loud again?
All right, fine. It smells very quivering.
smells moist.
This doesn't have the smoothness of Bailey's. I'm gonna feel pretty offended by the description.
Get ready to be offended.
You want to drink it out of a shoe?
I don't want to drink anything out of a shoe unless it's a Das Boot.
That's not shoe. That's a boot.
I feel like somebody could put it on.
Does that automatically make it a shoe? Is a shoe a boot?
A shoe is not a boot, but a boot is a shoe.
Ooh, that does smell creamy.
I will say it's got good scent to it. It's got some heavy vanilla scent to it. You can smell the vanilla and the oak. I do like the smell.
Do I have to drink it?
No.
Oh, that's a whiskey. I need a cigarette. Fuck.
That's a strong reaction to a sip of whiskey. All right. I don't know if that's necessarily a good sign or a bad sign, though.
I like it.
All right. Well, when you fill in this moment, give your extended opinion. I'm gonna go ahead
I know
and
how
try
to
myself.
talk, yeah.
Then why are there so many dead spots that I have to edit out, Joey?
Because you're editing them.
What?
I don't know.
I'm gonna try this now.
Hey, if there's dead spots, you're just as guilty of it as I am. Because you also have a responsibility to talk and also are able to as often as I am.
You know, you're probably not wrong.
I know, it's pretty good.
Okay.
It really warms you up inside.
Okay, I will definitely say it smells better than it tastes, but it isn't a bad whiskey by any means. You get those very heavy, like vanilla scent to it. For me, I don't get that in the flavor at all. Like it seems muted by just the actual sting of the alcohol itself. I'm not getting any real flavor beyond like earthy wood tones and the burn of alcohol.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I could definitely get the smell.
I mean, I honestly, I just can't say much outside of I like it. Like the flavor profile is so low on this, but it coincides with the mellowness of the whiskey. Like I'm getting that burn that you're talking about. It comes with most, again, this is just a blended, whiskey. There's nothing special about it.
Yeah, it's a good middle ground on it's got that burn. Like it burns in mouth and in throat, but it's smooth enough that you can sip it.
Yeah.
And I feel like you could shoot this too.
Shall we?
May as well. Cheers. Jake, fill in the noise.
Oh, yay. I'm going to drink more of this.
Or you can shoot that.
I think that's a good idea for me. I don't shoot whiskey well.
I shoot half of it.
All right, fine.
I just want to see the look on your face. You don't react when you fucking take a shot of moonshine.
For those who can't see it, even if you're watching the video itself, like Jake just put a handful of warheads in his mouth and could not take it.
That's an apt description.
Yeah, I can see it.
Overall,
I shoot moonshine better than I shoot.
sippable, shootable, smooth, still got a whiskey burn to it. Not heavy on the vanilla flavor for me personally, but the scent is there. I love the scent of it. It smells really good.
I'm really not getting any flavor. I'm just getting burn. And it's not a bad burn. It's not like the...
It's there. It's not off-putting.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
It's
But
a mild flavor, but it does smell better.
Honestly, I would
Oh.
rather have more flavor into it. I'm just not getting a lot.
Maybe we're a bit spoiled.
I mean, yeah, with a lot of the whiskeys we've been drinking, they're over flavored or too sweet, or
Yeah.
When I drink a whiskey, I want to get that whiskey flavor. I'm just like you said, I'm getting that whiskey burn, but I'm not getting any semblance of a whiskey flavor.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get one more in there.
I could drink this
Yeah, I was gonna say like
easily,
we can go ahead and define it as like yes, we could definitely drink this for the rest of the podcast. I feel like,
but that's just because there's nothing
significant.
special, really.
Well, I'll have you know that their ultra premium select club whiskey, just that name, that description alone says otherwise.
But it comes in a bag.
It does come in a bag. But what do you think I paid for this, and how much do you think it should be worth?
I think that you probably paid somewhere between, I want to say 25 and 30.
I think you paid 30 for it. That probably what it's worth.
What it should be worth, just based on everything as far as presentation, smell, everything about it. I think my estimated price point is right on to where it should be for just the average whiskey that I bought.
This was an $18 bottle of whiskey.
Okay, so
Can't shit talk it too much,
yeah,
but we can.
but we can
And we will.
because that is our platform where we judge whiskeys that we probably have no business doing so. But all right, so for the price that you paid,
not bad.
not bad at all.
Yeah.
I would expect this to be a $25 to $30 bottle of whiskey, just based on presentation and everything. Even if it's not that, like, I've had a lot of $25 to $30 whiskeys that aren't fucking good,
Yeah.
but they get the job done.
That's really what it's about. And again, it's 40% alcohol.
Yeah, 80 proof,
Yeah.
fantastic.
I mean, I don't mind.
Jake, you cringed when you shot it.
No, I mean,
Yeah, for price.
Bangford's book. Yeah.
It is the Little Caesars of alcohol. Not everybody agrees with it, but I'll be damned if it's not a full-size large pizza for $5. And that brings us to our sponsor.
Taka rum.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that would have been a smooth
Or
transition.
vodka.
But whatever.
yeah.
If only we ever had sponsors.
Oh, we're like 8 podcasts deep.
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
Brings us to our sponsor. Oh.
So,
All right. So let's break into some other talk.
we get into the
Yeah.
bread and butter of today's podcast.
Delicious. Yeah. Yeah, we should.
What are we talking about?
Well, what else is there to talk about besides politics?
Oh, God.
Well, there's been another huge spike in the coronavirus in the past week.
Yeah, because of Memorial Day and all that.
Yeah, it's called the second wave. Whatever. Everybody's
It's,
dying.
it's not the second
It's
wave.
still the first wave.
Yeah.
Second wave's not going to be coming to around like October, November.
Perfect. Right. Right. When we need it to not be a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, I think it's really closer to September. Yeah, it's the look I was looking for.
Jake, I don't have eyes right now.
Also, we would need the first wave to end before the second wave can start.
Yeah, it's a continuous,
Yeah, we're-
nonstop. Just
From all the graphs I've seen of the coronavirus, like it never like the number of cases or positive cases as far as like I forget all the terms they were using, but like cases have only been going up.
Yeah.
Like they started
Well,
opening everything up when cases started like slowing down, but we're still increasing.
Yeah.
People that were testing positive for it. Not testing positive as in had it and then don't have it anymore. People that are actively testing positive as infectious with it.
Yeah.
Those cases were still increasing. Like, well, it's slowed down. It's not, 1,000 people a day. It's only like 400
Yeah.
a day. So I think we can open everything back.
We had a spike. The highest amount in South Carolina on June 12th was 770 something cases.
in a day. Not bad. On that note, I want to give mad props to New Zealand right now because I'll be damned if they literally have 0 cases and we're able to fully reopen with no problem.
Nice.
Sounds like someone out there is at least doing something right.
Not us.
It's definitely not America. Weird. Anyway.
I really want to read into like the fucking. I'm sure they had to take extreme measures though to get to that point. Like closed borders, no one in or out. Like probably full fucking like
A legitimate lockdown?
yeah, probably full quarantine kind of shit.
Yeah, I mean, what?
Their population also is significantly less.
Oh,
Much
yeah.
crowded in New Zealand.
Well, it's way less, and they don't have the same kind of like fear of government that some of these citizens here do.
Yeah.
Whether it's valid or not, like they trust their government.
Yeah.
And most, or I wouldn't say most, but a lot of Americans here don't trust the government. And there's people that will just like, if the government tells them to stay inside, or the government tells them to do anything, they'll do the opposite.
Yeah.
There's just people like that exist and will always exist in America. So that'll be fun.
Yep, that's a thing. And that's why I think we managed to take another gold medal worldwide, I'm pretty sure, worst as far as coronavirus cases go.
Yeah, we are. We topped out over Italy now.
Fuck yeah. Another victory for the US of A.
That's not fair either, though.
Isn't it?
I mean, what's the population of Italy compared to ours?
I mean, by comparison, sure.
Their entire country could be affected, and we'd probably still dwarf them in infection cases.
All right, that part's fair.
They have what, a few million people population, like 20 or 30 million. We have 10 times that.
Yeah, but
until we get more than 10 times their infection rate, then it'll be a problem.
They got totally have had 200,000 infected and 30,000 deaths. So
okay, so we have coming up on 4 times. We're in the 120, 130,000 area at this point.
You said how many? 200,000?
200,000.
What's their population? Do you know? 'Cause, I mean, yeah, we have no idea as right now. We might get that in a second, but we might have
60 million.
16?
60,
60. Okay.
which is still not close.
Yeah, we're almost 400 million.
All right, I thought we were still in the like 320 million-ish area.
So we're the third most populated country in the world. 328 million.
Okay, so yeah, you were right.
Yeah, I was completely right. What are you talking
He
about?
said 320 something million, but yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I thought you said less than
You
that.
just weren't listening to me.
Oh, wow,
I mean,
we're
it's
listening to
valid,
you.
but yeah.
That's
So
True.
So we're 5 times their population with about 4 times their death rate.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
About even, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's hard. It's really hard to judge that, but yeah.
I guess we still handled it very.
so did they.
I guess. Yeah, I guess.
I mean,
Compared to Italy, we're par for the course.
And again, like I'm not big on like fear mongering or like any of that bullshit, but we still have no idea what China's doing.
Yeah.
They're not gonna tell us the truth on anything that, or at least we can't trust it.
I mean,
As far as we know, North Korea still doesn't have any cases. You know that's bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I don't
Well,
know.
as far as we know,
allowed in North Korea, so they might not.
As far as North Korea, I mean, Kim Jong Un's still alive, so whatever.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything else about that.
I don't think we will for a
We don't
while.
have any concerns.
No, I've been mostly about like Black Lives Matter and all that kind of stuff recently. And
Yeah, I've been trying to keep it relevant. Really, just right now, the full dynamic of at least the U.S. is Black Lives Matter and the coronavirus in general.
yeah. Well, now it's not even Black Lives Matter. It's all the people arguing about the rioters versus the protesters and, all that kind of shit. It's just...
It's watering down the whole movement, in my opinion.
It's difficult to have any discussion with anybody, even with somebody that you agree with.
Yeah.
On 90% of your fucking cases, you're going to find that 10% of fucking shit that you don't agree with, and that's what you're going to argue about. It's just... this whole country is going to get divided to the point where, like, we're not going to be able to accomplish shit. We're not going to be able to accomplish shit through fucking force if we even wanted to. Even if we were able to, we wouldn't be able to accomplish anything through force. We're not going to be able to accomplish anything through voting.
Yeah.
Like, we've been successfully divided, whether it's for good reasons or not. There's division within this country. We have been divided.
Yeah. At the same time, though, I have been seeing at least some progress. I think this movement has actually created some kind of results.
It has. Oh, definitely. The protests in general, but
I mean,
there's going to be long-lasting effects, good and bad.
oh yeah, absolutely.
You know?
But we genuinely like. Let's see. We're coming up on roughly 2 weeks.
I think we're past that.
Well, let's see. It's the 13th. The first protest that I recall, that I at least participated in, was the 30th of May.
Yeah, we were having for like 2 days before that. So yeah, about
2 weeks, 14 days roughly. And I've seen more than 14 days happen in
100 years
Yeah,
of
100 fucking
politics.
years. So yeah, there's definitely some results to be had from all of this.
And there's of course there's going to be results from violent protests and from the beginnings of actual populist uprising.
Yeah.
That's
We really get to see a lot of people that have come out, and you can see who is actually racist and who is trying to help.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
people are just straight fucking outing themselves.
Oh yeah, we're getting to see people's true colors by far. Even in some organizations, we wish they weren't. But
yeah,
The only thing I'm concerned about is everybody is right now. People are taking actions against people and organizations that are outing themselves. How long is that going to last? How long do we go back to a, air quote normal?
well yeah. And what's going to happen to these people who get outed? If shit doesn't keep up and there isn't actual progressive change for any of this, I mean, these people are just going to go back to their normal fucking lives.
yeah,
And eventually you're going to hit critical mass, but there's so many fucking racist bigots and xenophobes and homophobes and transphobes. Like, you're going to just have them all in a big fucking pile and they're just going to fall through the woodwork or fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
Because you can't punish that many fucking people. And the fact that there's that many fucking people
yeah,
in this
that's
country
depressing in
alone
itself.
is fucking horrible.
That is
God.
right there is exactly what makes me fear that not nothing, but not as much is going to get changed as should be.
Yeah, it
Because
needs
there's
to be.
so many people that are still have that mindset of racism and bigotry.
Yeah, not only so many people that have that mindset, but so many people in positions of power that, if not have that mindset, sympathize with people that have that mindset,
Yeah.
and vice versa.
I've seen far too many people, even that are fully accepting of this movement and are on the side of this movement, but are still trying to be, I guess, kind of like PC and understanding. Like people blatantly being outright hateful and racist and homophobic. They're just like, no, I understand your point of view. I try to understand your point of view. I'm on the opposite side. It's like, no, that's not how that works, in my opinion. They blatantly
Trump
hate
would
you.
say, there are good people on both sides.
Yeah.
And there shouldn't. It's not about two good people on both sides. It's about, no, we need to take a stand now. That's fucked up. Stop it.
Well, I mean, in Trump's defense, he made a good point the other day of pointing out that 75-year-old man that got knocked down as a probable ANTIFA actor, probably a paid actor, right? They got pushed down and fell harder than he got pushed, and then cracked his skull against the the ground and started
Cracked his
bleeding.
own
I
skull
know you guys
open.
can't see, but I am definitely face palming right now.
I mean, wait, are you saying our commander in chief is wrong about something?
No, like clearly.
I'm saying he's a fucking dumbass, but
Well, and
I would never.
that's the whole thing. Like, I really, God, I hate talking about politics.
Well,
I really do. With
clearly, like Antifa is genetically engineering these 75-year-old super soldiers
people.
that can fall down on command.
Anyone that's not Antifa is already lost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your time has come.
Antifa has fucking 75-year-old super soldiers.
You know,
There are dozens of them everywhere.
They've been in the business for like the better part of a century. Okay.
one of my
What chance
favorite
do you have?
signs that I've seen from protesters on the internet has been, I've been holding up this sign for 65 years.
And those are that's how you can easily recognize the super soldiers.
Fucking how depressing would it be? Like if you were in their shoes, if you were there and you were part of the Million Man March, or you were part of women's suffrage, or like any part of like civil rights or equal rights or any of those movements back in the 60s and 70s, and fucking 50 or 60 years later, you're protesting the exact same thing.
Like nothing's fucking changed. Or in fact, it's gotten worse. Actually.
Yeah, and arguably it's gotten worse. I wouldn't say it's gotten. I wouldn't say it's gotten worse. There's more of it with a bigger population, obviously.
Bigger population, more access to information.
It's been recorded more. I would definitely make an argument that there's more of it happening just from a bigger population.
Also, people seem to be, for some reason, more comfortable with doing it.
I'm sure they were very comfortable doing it before video cameras.
True.
But I mean, just for the whole fucking this stupid shit that constantly is streaming out of the commander in chief's fucking stupid little dumb mouth. Even the people that don't agree with him, that they still support him more or less, still planning on probably maybe voting for him in 2020. All this racist, stupid, bigot shit that keeps coming out of his mouth. Mostly the stupid shit, because you can't deny the stupid shit. These people can always argue whether it's actually bigoted, or racist or xenophobic or homophobic or transphobic or ablephobic, like ableist, sexist, all of the other is.
There's a lot of phobias that go around.
Some of the shit he said that are all of the phobics and ists are arguable. I'll grant it, whether or not they actually are, but it's not arguable that everything that he said is stupid. It's just fucking stupid. And you can make a very good argument for racism, at least, because he just has a very long history of racism. Mm. And the people that support that, they might not be racist. They might not be sexist. They might not be stupid. But that's not a deal breaker for them.
Yeah, they've accepted that. It's like, no, I'm still in.
Yeah.
Despite that.
Go on. All right. So racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, just bigotry in general, that's still on the table. Okay, continue.
Yeah, go on. Took a weird turn.
I would still like to hear more, please.
Yeah. That's kind of...
What? It's hard to not lose hope,
Yeah.
For people in general. I don't know how many people I've just straight up stopped talking to, because you can't convince anybody nowadays to change their mind.
Oh God, no. You present somebody with new information that they were actually wrong about. No, they'll double down.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
Well, they'll either double down, or they're like, oh, but from my perspective, and they'll just give you some dumbass fucking, narrow-minded perspective.
Yeah, like, okay, well.
Yeah. They'll be talking about, like, something Trump said or some shit. Like, he didn't actually say that or some shit. Like, all right, well, a fucking 4-year-old can read between the lines of like, his just the loudest dog whistle you could possibly have. It's just inflammatory bullshit. But, like, yeah, okay, that's not the actual words that he said. But, like, an idiot could figure that out.
A lot of that, I'm getting a lot of that from especially some of the older generations.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he didn't mean it like that. He was just being sarcastic, or he talks a little bit like an asshole, but he doesn't actually mean it. It's like, no, motherfucker, he means it.
Well, it doesn't fucking matter because of his position. You're not allowed to do that.
He's still saying it.
Just don't do it.
I mean, talking about like
you're really allowed to. You're the president. But you're the president. Don't do that.
You're talking about using like bleach and Lysol and shit to disinfect the human body.
Yeah, inject bleach.
Yeah,
let's go.
Like,
millennials had lock on that way long. Like
that was our thing.
That was our thing. He doesn't get to take that from us.
Like, I perfectly understand, especially when I saw the video of him talking about injecting Lysol or something into you. Like, to me, when he said that, when I heard that, it sounded like sarcasm. But you're the fucking president. Don't use fucking sarcasm on a fucking speech.
He wasn't speeching. He was literally spitballing with a bunch of scientists.
Like,
and
yeah,
shit.
Why don't we just inject disinfectant?
Like, is there a way that we can just use like disinfectant inside the human body? Some shit like that. Like, what do you do? You're one of the scientists there. You've been in medical school for 8 years at least.
Yeah.
Right. You worked your ass off to the point where you're on a fucking presidential's like briefing team, and the highest ranking fucking officer of the United States says some shit like that you learned in kindergarten.
Yeah, you learned it before medical school.
Yeah, no, that
was a dumb idea.
You learned it before school.
Yeah,
your parents told you not to drink bleach and shit when you were 3 years old.
Yeah.
And you have the most powerful man in America
asking if that's okay.
Like, hey, I got an idea. Can we drink bleach?
Now,
Is that a thing we're allowed to do? Is that
most
okay?
people,
Would that solve coronavirus or?
most people
Am I a genius? What
recognize
happened?
that most people would recognize that as he's saying something stupid. Oh well. You have other people seeing that as, which I hate to say it, but there's a lot of really fucking dumb people out there.
Oh yeah,
a lot
He
of
probably
very
had at least 1,000 people start to inject themselves with some fucking bleach.
no, they've done polls. Like 1% of fucking Trump supporters have used bleach to disinfect their food, like in some manner. And like granted, I will say you can use a tiny amount of bleach to disinfect your water, and it'll be safe to drink. But it's literally like a teaspoon per like 10 gallons or some shit of water.
Yeah, I think the actual ratio that at least I remember was 1/8 of a teaspoon per gallon of water is safe.
Yeah,
barely. But it gets rid of all the bacteria.
Yeah, it would kill all the bacteria and it'd be more or less safe to drink outside of, bigger
Tasting a little weird.
bullshit.
Yeah.
But no, like there was a percentage of fucking Trump supporters that legitimately started using disinfectants and stuff in like unintended ways.
I heard about hospitals being flooded with calls about, is it safe to inject myself with disinfectant? No, it's not. Don't do that. Oh, well, the president said.
Oh, weird. The guy without any kind of like scientific education whatsoever said something.
No, that's the point, though. The president of the United States of America needs to stop saying stupid shit.
Yes, and that brings me back around to my point that you're the president. Even if you're being sarcastic, you shouldn't in that position of power because people are gonna take you seriously.
Well, yeah, and his entire fucking career, at the very least, as president, he's done shit like that. He's urged his supporters to like start protests, to actually attack other fucking people.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually told police officers to use police brutality when apprehending suspects on multiple occasions.
Yeah,
like.
Doing.
I'm sure if we looked up, there's probably a list of actual treasonous acts that he's done as president that could have him removed on the spot,
or at least told other people to do.
Yeah.
I don't fucking get it, and I don't want to spend this whole fucking podcast talking about Trump.
Well, we've spent the better part of it. We actually need to. Yeah, we need to come to a
all right, I want some good news to end this podcast on.
All right. Well, you're out of luck.
Oh God!
Because this is America.
This is America.
Is there actually anything good we managed to stumble across in the vague scrolling through Facebook research that we do on a weekly basis? Anyway, thanks for tuning in.
I don't know. Edit out some dead air real quick.
I'm going to. Please find something.
I can find something.
Please find something. After a brief intermission, my God, we managed to find something positive to talk about, and here it is right now. We go live to Joey.
NASCAR banning the Confederate flag from all of its events.
Oh,
I love this shit. I actually saw this recently on Facebook, and I actually made a meme for the first time in like a couple weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. I used to make them, and I was a meme lord and all that kind of stuff.
Nobody cares about your past.
Yeah, you're right. But I broke out the old fucking meme generator and all that kind of shit. And, got the old editing software together on my phone. It took me about 45 seconds. I made a sweet fucking meme about this.
It's a little slow
this
for you.
Dickhead. What was his name? Ray Cantanoli.
Someone
Some shit like that.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Neither does NASCAR. You're right.
Yeah.
I don't think it was real. It was a real response because he said, "Oh, I'm tired of this progressive bullshit in NASCAR, and that's why I'm leaving." And then I'm pretty sure it was fake.
It might have been
the NASCAR's response. Like, we had to Google who you were.
Yeah,
I'm sure your fans we had to Google who you were. Looks like you've been in like 34 races and haven't gotten a podium
I'm
once.
sure your dozens of fans will be disappointed that you're leaving. That was hilarious.
That was so good. And it just made me think of me instantly, like if you watched fucking Endgame.
Yeah.
Like you took everything from me.
I
don't even know who you are.
Yeah, just Thanos sitting there with NASCAR over his face. I don't even know who you are.
But I mean,
Good times.
and they still have the other Confederate flag.
Oh yeah, the one they wave at the end, the white flag.
The white one, yeah.
Yeah. Typically the flag of surrender, if I recall.
I mean, to be fair, that man is pretty big on protesting flags, right? I mean, he protested the checkered flag every race he's in.
He didn't win anything, by the way.
Yeah, no.
You should catch on.
He not only did he never win a race in like 33 races, he didn't even get a podium in those. I think he regularly placed like
Bottom.
No, the highest he ever ranked was higher than that.
Ooh.
Like the highest he's ever ranked was in the low 30s.
Was it 38 that I was thinking of then, maybe?
No, because I saw the post about 28th, but looking at his
Wasn't
record,
like-
the best he's ever ranked was like 34th.
It was like 34th out of 40 drivers, right?
Yeah.
What a champion. I'm sad to see him go, to be honest. I'm going to miss Ray at races when I'm watching NASCAR.
Out of all one NASCAR races that I've watched,
Raise hell, praise down. Anyway.
I don't remember him.
Well, it's like the whole
fuck
fucking
outta
thing. Like NASCAR is literally invented by Southerners running from the law.
Yeah.
What? And why did they run from the law? Because fuck them. That's why.
Because fuck them. But no, that's
That's a little bit of good news.
yeah, that's something
That was fun.
Yeah.
at the very least hilarious to us to end on.
Yeah, and
so,
America's divorce, the progressives get NASCAR. Who'd have thunk it?
yeah, and the right got Harry Potter somehow.
No,
but
we're keeping Harry Potter. They can have J.K. Rowling.
that's fair. They can have J.K. Rowling, Daniel Radcliffe wrote Harry Potter, whatever.
No, J.K.
No.
Rowling. J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter.
Just
We can't-
anything new she comes out with, it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, I think that's a fairly decent point to actually end it on. Then we get to keep Harry Potter, guys. Cheers.
Oh yeah, I'll drink to
Hell
that.
yeah.
Oh.
Anyway,
I don't want to leave him hanging.
Yeah, make sure and check us out on all our platforms of social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Check us out on YouTube. If you're checking us out on YouTube, then check us out on Anchor, Spotify. We're on iTunes now.
And YouTube.
And YouTube.
Hey, do we have anything on YouTube?
I think we do actually. Did you say YouTube?
For sure. I didn't say it more than once until you brought it up. But yes.
Definitely get something on YouTube.
All right. Well, enough comments on iTunes, enough 5-star ratings, and I'll put this on YouTube.
Can we start a vlog?
God, I hope so. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. This has been a Two Whiskeys podcast.
Signing off.
You're not down with that.
Well, if they're not down with it being a Two Whiskeys podcast, that's a little weird.
Oh,
But I mean, what if they aren't down with that, though? I
Hey.
guess
that would be fun.
that would be fine. We'll see you next time. And also, you can suck it.